Pilums, short swords, and men in turtle formation. That's right, it's time for the top 10 wildest things the Roman army had to face. Number 10. Atten Hut. The Roman army, baby! It's rough, it's tough. And worst of all, to their enemies, they were organized. But something every Roman soldier had to go through was some intense training. The training lasted 4 months, that's too long, started with intense marching and eventually moved into sparring. By the time they were finished, they were able to march 20 miles in full armor. A paid military rank and highly effective, the Romans were a formidable fighting force and an inspiration to many, including some ideas that are used in modern militaries today. While not having a perfect win-to-loss ratio, the Romans are probably most remembered for their military prowess, techniques, and weaponry. They got some cool spears. The theme, or really their best tactics, was teamwork. Roman legions worked as one. It would make them a very worthy opponent for many opponents. Number 9. Lonely Romans. I don't know about you guys, but after conquering lands and marching for days, I would be tired. As much as the Romans hated barbarians, some of them were tough and cost the Romans many lives in battle, so it would be best for the Romans to fight their hardest in order to come home to their families. Well, that wasn't exactly the case for Romans, as they were not allowed to be married. Not until the 2nd century, that was. All that unaliving and conquering, and no one to come for you from all those horrors of war. I would need a hug for sure. However, like a lot of rules, they were meant to be broken, as some higher ranking Romans in the military did take some wives. And honestly, can you blame them? Number 8. Short straw. Roman soldiers were professionals, maybe too professional. In the time of the Romans, there was the occasional deserter, or mutiny. However, the Romans had a simple solution for this, or rather a pretty wild one. Something called decimation, or the removal of tents. Basically, after an offense has been committed, you and 9 buddies line up to draw straws. Whoever draws the shortest straw gets unalived by your remaining 9 friends, often by stoning, clubbing, or stabbing. That's just great. This punishment was not just limited to grunts, but open to any rank and anyone who dared disobey the Roman military code. Cause they're Romans, and that's just how the Romans do. Forget about it. I spoke to the legionnaire of my army today, who just so happens to be the chief. And you know what he said? That's not it. Number 7. The Battle of Cannae. This was a hard day for many Romans. Maybe it was its overzealous confidence from conquering so much after losing so little. However, after facing the mighty elephant-riding Hannibal of Carthage, the Romans were about to get a piece of their own medicine. Over 40,000 Romans would meet their ends in the Battle of Cannae. I can only imagine the confusion and humiliation the Romans must have felt. The battle is considered to be one of the worst days in Roman military history. It's also considered to be one of the greatest strategic military victories in history. From the bad guys, or the Carthage at least. I mean, they beat the Romans in the one thing they are really good at. That's like me trying to beat Michael Phelps in a swimming race, and then me winning. Yeah, never gonna happen. Which I'm sure if I did would shock absolutely everybody, including myself. I'm not built for swimming, I'm built for sinking. That's just how it goes. Number 6. The Battle of Carthage. It wouldn't be a good story without a little revenge, would it? The Third Punic War was the last time Rome and Carthage would engage in combat. Rome began the siege of Carthage, and it was a brutal fight. Carthage did everything they could to repel the Romans, but Rome was powerful and was ready for their sweet revenge. Eventually, the city could no longer repel the Roman attack and was captured. The city was completely destroyed, and those who survived the siege were taken by the Romans and sold off into YouTube's least favorite S-word. The Romans had fought hard against Carthage and were probably glad to be rid of Hannibal and his war elephants. Yes, that's right, war elephants. He trained elephants to kill people. Like, that isn't so insane that you could train an elephant. Number 5. Civil unrest. Imagine you're a farmer, poor, hungry, and tired from tending fields all day long. Or you're a merchant in a city who's doing their best to get by. When you hear the thunderous marching of Roman soldiers approaching your position, the Romans are here to Romanify you. Or something like, there's no verb for that, I guess, I don't know. There's a good chance if you don't accept the Romans at your front door with open arms, they would force you to anyway. This means a lot of Roman soldiers dealt with civil unrest at home and abroad, as sometimes people just didn't want to be Roman. Kinda makes sense. Kind of a broad point too, but this is just how it goes when you conquer that much. The Roman Empire was one of the largest the world would ever see. Eventually, she would fall, due to many factors, but the civil unrest was always there. At least we still got the Colosseum though, right? Pretty cool. Number 4. Wizards of the Barbarians. The spookiest enemy of the Romans, no doubt, was the Druids. Religious-like figures who aided the barbaric hordes in many different ways. Romans did not like them, and they wanted them gone. You could almost say they wanted to purge them, like a certain hooded Sith that purged the galaxy of those treacherous Jedi.
Execute Order 66.
Unfortunately for the Druids, they got a bad rap, as almost everything we know about them is written by Romans, who were their enemies, and they weren't exactly that nice when speaking about them. So were they actually magical ritual practicing wizards? Maybe, but always remember that history is written by the victors. A lot of Romans are great because they told us they were. However, for the average Roman soldier at the time, any amount of propaganda about weird wizard people was probably believed, as there's no trusted reliable sources of information back then, like Wikipedia to fact check, because they always have facts. Number 3. Barbarians. Barbarians are basically what all Romans called, well, basically non-Romans. Uncivilized, brutal peoples living outside of Rome and the lands that Romans so wanted to conquer. More specifically though, the Goths from Gaul, in what is now modern day France. Many times the Romans would find themselves engaging with the people of Gaul. Conquest and assimilation is the name of the game. And like the other tribes and cultures in proximity to the Romans, they weren't exactly going to take it sitting down. Eventually the tides would turn in their favor, and every Roman soldier's worst nightmare would come true. Rome was sacked by Gaul in 390 BCE. The horrors. Number 2. Attilla the Hun. Probably the most ruthless enemy the Roman Empire ever faced. Every once in a while someone rises in the ranks in history and becomes a well-known conqueror. He ranks up there with the other big bad boys. Going against the Hun was to be a formidable foe. He conquered many lands before taking aim at the Roman Empire. I can just imagine the dread on the Roman soldiers' faces when they realized who they were going to be toe-to-toe with. However, in the end the Romans would claim victory and Attila was defeated and perished during his attempted conquest. Number 1. Being a soldier. I mean, let's be honest. Through everything I've said, the Roman army was made up of soldiers. Sure, it may have been a very long time ago, but it's still the army. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I am certainly not brave enough to be in the army. All my respect and love goes out to any soldier in the armed forces. Thank you for your service, seriously. But being in a modern army may be tough, but imagine being in the Roman army. I mean, you gotta walk everywhere or sail everywhere, and you better hope the enemy is close, because otherwise you're gonna be walking or sailing for a long time. And as a tubby boy with asthma, I would not fare well in the hot Mediterranean sun. With excessive walking and a diet of wine and bread, trying to swing a sword while bloated must have been the biggest challenge yet. No thanks, I'll pass. That's gonna wrap it up for me today, guys, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Bumblebee, and if you too want to join the Legion, check out my socials linked down below. I've been your host, Big Ched, and stay sweet, my little honeybees.
Hey, I come home from war. I love my wife. Let's go. Nice.
Attilla the Hun, Attilla the Hun, Attilla the Hun, Attilla the Hun. With excessive was, excessive Olsen?